Welcome, my awesome friends. Thank you so much for joining me with the taper tag challenge. Today I'm going to concentrate on what to do when you have no die cuts or anything to decorate your tags with. And we are going to learn a few tricks. So these are 3 tags that I made using scrap cardboard from a coffee box. And I'm going to teach you how to make one. They're lovely, abstract, and lots of fun. And we're going to doodle the background. So for this tag, I'm using one of my husband's old golf scorecards. And we have a tag here. And what I've done is I've already cut some little triangles, just random sizes. And we can do something else. We cut a squiggle or something. Just freehand, don't overthink it. And we'll do some squiggles here. You can do any shape. You can do lines. You can cut out circles. Whatever you like. It's just fun. And out of some rubbish that we would have thrown in the bin, we're giving it new life. We're making a tag that you can actually put on a gift or use as a bookmark. So nothing will go to waste. And the cardboard also adds dimension. So it's a little bit thicker than a die cut. You know, the die cut's paper. Obviously this is thicker. So just using some craft glue. I'm using some Acroweld. We're going to glue it on. And I'm a very messy crafter. I'm sure you can see that from my board. I think it's great when we can use things that would end up in the dustbin. So I encourage you to start looking around your house for goodies that would have normally ended up in the bin. Do that one. And there's another one. I think I need one more squiggle. And I'm actually going to cut this one in half. Should have probably done that before I glued it. Put one over there. And as you can see, please excuse my dog barking. As you can see, I have overlapped the squiggles. They're over the edge. I find it so much easier than to try and get everything to fit clearly onto the tag. It's much better to overlap it and then you can trim it later. So there you go. I'm just sticking this under my craft mat for a minute to dry, and we'll quickly glue the triangle one. And you can see I'm not, with this triangle one, I'm not going right to the edge of the tag. I prefer to leave a little bit of space. Not wrong. You can do it any way you like, but that's just my preference. And in the background, my dog is going crazy. Obviously a golfer walking close by. I don't like that one. I think that's too big. See, I said, oh, don't overthink it, think it, and then I overthink it. How funny is that? Let's just cut a smaller triangle, I think. And there, I dropped it. There you go. Yeah, that's better. A triangle there. There. That one's a bit big. Of course, my dog is now going crazy because there's a golfer playing past our house. So hope that doesn't put you off. But we've all got a life that we live, and unfortunately she hates the golfers. So there you go. Glue down the card. Very haphazard. You can see I messed glue. Doesn't really matter because you're going to cover it with metal tape. And there's my tag. Just to give you an example. Finished one. There you go. So I'm going to stick that one underneath the mat, and we can pull out the one that we glued earlier. Just want to stick my lid back on my glue. Oh, if I can find the lid. There you go. This tassel, this glue tassel, was made by a friend. Okay, so here we've got our little squiggles, and I prefer trimming from the back because you can see really clearly. So we just trim them neatly from the back. Trim from the back. Trim from the back. Trim from the back. There you go. Okay, all done. As usual, we are using our 2-inch tape or our 480mm tape, and we're going to overlap the pieces. It'll work out just fine. Finding the end is always difficult. So with this one I've worked diagonally, so I'm actually going to stick my tape diagonally because it'll just work out nicely and you won't see the lines or the joints so easily. And once again, always overlapping the tape. Another piece. And today I'm going to show you a quick trick as well, a shortcut on how to cover the back. I cover most of my backs, but you don't have to, you can write on them. But as I mentioned to you, I'm a messy crafter, so I find I always mess. And here we go. The back, you can see I didn't trim the front. It really doesn't matter. There we go. And we need one more piece. This piece I'm just going to cut in half lengthways. And I hope my light is still good because it's getting late. It's nearly 5 o'clock here in South Africa. And I work with natural light. I find the reflection of using a light inside the house doesn't work. The tape is too shiny and then you can't see things clearly. So you have to work in natural light. And it seems to be a really noisy day. Aeroplanes flying over. I'm 10 minutes from the airport. How lucky am I in South Africa? That's quite a blessing. Okay, using your loyalty card, old credit card, we're just going to rub it really well. And then taking our paper stamp, we're also going to rub around our cardboard cutouts to make sure your tape is nice and flat. Okay, all good. And here's a trick. You're going to rub around the outside of your tag. Can you see? I'm rubbing around the outside of the tag. So that actually kind of seals the tag. The back to the front, the tape. There you go. Okay. And now you have a clear line around the tag to use your blade to cut. So we're just going to cut. And this is so much easier than folding the tape over the tag, you know, towards the back. To me, this is quicker. Okay. Sorry, it's stuck to my fingers. And I see I just missed a little piece, so I'm going to cut that with the scissors. There we go. So if you can look clearly there, I have rubbed it with the paper stump. I've had a few girls ask me what they can use instead of a paper stump, and to be honest, you can use an earbud or cotton bud, Q-tip, but I don't really like them because they're inclined, if you work too hard, they bend and scratch your tape, and they don't work well at all. Really, there's nothing to replace a paper stump in my opinion. Just want that to look good. There you go. So there is my completed tag. Now all I'm going to use, remember we have nothing. We have a tag. If you don't have one, you can cut one out of cardboard. We have some scrap cardboard. We have our metal tape, and we have a pen. We are just going to outline the edges of the card that we stuck down, in this case my squiggles, just outlining it. I'm sure you can see the definition is so much better once it's been outlined. And now I want to do something with the background. So on this tag, you can see that for the background, I scribbled on the actual cardboard that I cut out, this twirly thing, and I left the background plain. For this triangle tag, I drew lines, and for this squiggle tag, or I like to call it the zebra, I actually drew squiggles in between the lines. So that just shows you what you can do to do the background. So I think for this one, it'll look really nice if we just do the lines, because this is squiggly lines. If you had the time, you could follow the line, but I'm always impatient, so I'm just scribbling. I'm scribbling the lines. And please note, when you're going towards the edge, always go towards the edge like that. Don't come back, because you hook the tape. Okay. Just so you can see the difference, the technique there versus nothing. It really makes a difference to do a little bit of background scribbling or techniquing. I will teach you so many different background techniques, but I'm sure you are all quite capable of creating some new ones to share with me. Oops, I just drew on that. So you can see I drew a line there, and I want to cheat a little bit, so I'm taking my card and I'm smoothing it out a bit. That's the thing about the thin metal tape, it's really forgiving. You can make a mistake and generally you can cover it up and no one will ever know that there is something that you were not happy about on your tag or on any project that you do. And then once again working to the edge and working to that edge. Okay, just turning that around. And I'm keeping the lines in the same angle. Working towards the edge. I don't know if you can see that nicely in the light. We've done our lines. I'm using the Sharpie today, not the acrylic. You'll find that most of the video clips I do will be using the Sharpie. It's because it's my favorite. I find the acrylic is so messy, but it does have its own place. Also, when you're using acrylic, it makes your metal quite dull. And then remember, just use a piece of the backing paper so we don't get ink all over our fingers. I just wanted to mention to you, sometimes your fingers end up quite blue after you have finished crafting, and the best way to clean it is hand sanitizer. Not great on your hands, but takes off all the ink, which is actually quite good. So I usually have a big bottle of hand sanitizer here and a little lappy. And for my overseas friends, a lappy is a rag or a cloth, but we call it a lappy. So I have my lappy and my hand sanitizer. Okay, so I'm just letting this dry to the touch. And somebody mentioned to me earlier in one of the previous videos, they left a comment and said they found the ink is hard to take off. So if you're not using a Sharpie and you're using a different alcohol ink, they all react differently with the metal, and it is quite hard to take it off. So for this tag, I'm going to show you the nail buff. The thing that's nice about the nail buff is that it takes away some of the shine as well. So we're going to use the nail buff, and I'm buffing towards the edge. I don't know if you can see that. Always buff towards the edge. And then using little circular movements a little bit inside where we've done the techniquing. Then using a rag or a lappy, just going to wipe the residue off. And there you have a lovely tag with a bit of dimension and a little bit of background scribbles. So just to refresh your memory, there are the tags, all made with waste card. So get cracking, girls. Let's see what you can make. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to use the hashtag #TapeATag.